All right, folks, what we did is the wind is coming out of the west and the tide is actually going out. So we had to get set up on this marker. I got a drift of exactly how we're gonna drift. So I got set up on the marker so I can throw my net with the wind and let it go into the marker to get the bait. We've already got the bait chummed up. So if you're in a situation like this where the wind and the tide are doing different things, like this one, it's almost like a cross. So we set up the boat to where I got the drift, understood the drift. I'm at 305 heading. So now we're chumming and they're thick as all get out right behind the boat. So I'm gonna throw the net and see what we can do. All right, I can see the bait behind the boat. I'm gonna throw my 1/4 inch net. See what happens. But at least I can throw it with the wind. And like I said, we're set up right there. But the bait is thick. All right, it just took 2 throws, one for the live well, one for the bucket. And we're gonna go and fish. It's nice having the opportunity to have my office right on the water so we can drop the boat and go and fish. Unfortunately, the winds are up. They're supposed to die down a little bit by this evening, I'm hoping. I hate fishing the rough stuff, but hey, it is what it is. We'll see if we can go catch some fish. But then, as I explained to you, it's very important that you get a good setup on the marker, because if you're not set up on this marker right, or any of these markers, I see a lot of people make the same mistake to where they will end up on the back side of the marker on either one of the tides. You always got to remember that the bait fish are on the up tide side of that structure. So you want to be on the up tide of that structure, because if you're back behind and you're trying to chum, that chum's going away from the marker. And I was talking to another guide today, and we were talking about all the guides that go up and rodeo bait. That means they just go up and throw the net and don't chum or anything else like that. Trust me, it works. It does work doing that. But at the same time, I've seen it over and over again where we've waited and waited and waited for people to try to catch bait at the markers, and they're just trying to rodeo bait. And finally, after about 25, 30 minutes, I'll just pull in there and start chumming, and I'll usually invite them in to catch the bait, because that bait is so spooky right now that it doesn't want to stay up. So that's why I'm throwing the lighter net too. Is my first throw actually was kind of a little bit entangled. I should have taken the time to untangle the net, but it's so tough when it's rough like this and windy to untangle a net. But anyway, my second throw, boom. My third throw, boom, done. We're over. So now we're gonna go and see if we can catch some fish this evening. Rich, starting it off.
Get the skunk off the boat.
Now again, Rich and I are doing 2 different things. He's using a cut bait and I'm using a live bait. And I had a hit, but he caught the first fish. So we're gonna continue to, why don't you just take the bucket up there with you?
Yeah, you're using a live?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I just got bumped. Come on, eat it. Don't play with it, eat it. Oh, son of a biscuit, come on. So what we're doing is doing 2 different things until you establish that pattern. I know I talk about that all the time, establishing a pattern, but it's very important that you do that. Oh, you. It's all Rich's fault.
You told them to eat it, they ate it.
I'll tell you what, I'm sitting there idling, I'm looking for some areas, and I'm like, where's Rich at? So I'm like, Rich, are you back there cutting bait? He's like, yeah. I'm like, man, you're really pushing yourself ahead of Chad there. He's back there cutting bait. I didn't even have to ask him. He just went back there and started cutting bait.
I'm the closest I'll come to fish all day.
Oh, come on now. See, Chad, I would have to beg and say, Chad, please cut bait for me. Please cut bait. Rich did it by himself. That's why Rich works with me. Right, Rich?
If I don't go home smelling like fish, my wife will never believe I went fishing.
Well, we have film to prove it. You should have wiped that fish all over you then.
There's plenty of bait in the bucket.
Snapper! Spitting up the cut bait. He spit up a piece of cut bait and he's got your cut bait on there.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is the guy that's been stealing all my bait previously.
Well, as I told everybody that it seemed like the fish were starting to get away from cut bait, but he put cut bait down, he's getting hit. I put live bait down, I got one hit and that was it. As soon as I put cut bait down, I was getting bit. And he just caught that, he caught a red grouper and a snapper. And I'm getting popped again. Come on, man. Don't tell me you stole my bait that fast. Little gag. I can tell you right now that the bite's better today than it was on Sunday. Look at this greedy sucker. He's got 2 pieces of cut bait in his mouth. Look at that. Well, folks, welcome to another Friday fishing forecast. And it looks like it's going to be a beautiful Mother's Day weekend. And Chad and I are going to head out on Saturday. It looks like it's going to be a little bit bumpy. They're calling 10 to 15 out of the northeast. Today it's blowing. On Friday it's blowing pretty good. As you saw in the video with Rich and I on Thursday evening, it was blowing pretty good too. So we caught some fish, but I thought I had our trolling motor fixed with the voltage issues. Went through everything. The trolling motor worked for about an hour, and then it kept shutting off after it would come up to about 4.5 and then it would shut off. And I put 2 and 2 together and figured it was probably the breaker. So we're going to replace that. I'm almost 100% sure. I've already dealt with all these stuff enough that I have an idea of when something goes bad. I kind of have an idea of what's going on with it. So anyway, I'm going to get that fixed, go out, enjoy the day on the water. Now, if you guys have a chance, Sunday for Mother's Day looks awesome. So if your mom likes to fish, take her out and go fishing. Enjoy the day on the water. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, beautiful weekend. Like I said, a little bumpy, but weather-wise, it's absolutely, tomorrow's going to be beautiful. Today's beautiful. The humidity is down. I know by Sunday, the humidity is going to start creeping up. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about some of the upcoming things that we have. Chad and I will be doing a seminar at the News Channel 8 outdoor show at Raymond James Stadium. The show runs Friday through Sunday, the 14th, 15th, and 16th. And Chad and I will be out there on the 16th with Southeastern Fishing Tackle. We will be doing a seminar at 1 p.m. on the main stage. They will have our jigs and all of our stuff there at their booth at Southeastern. So if you're interested in buying some of our jigs, come and seeing us at the seminar. Please come out and do so. We love meeting our fans, and hopefully with the seminars, we talk about some things that are a little bit different. So if you have never been to a seminar, come out to a seminar. And people tell us all the time that come out to several seminars that they always learn something new at every seminar. And that's the key. We want people, you'll hear some of the regurgitated stuff, but more than likely you're going to learn something different. And that's why we do what we do, is we want to be able to teach people. And it could range from grouper, snapper, snook, redfish, trout, even tarpon. If you're interested in tarpon, we can throw some ideas out there. Even though Chad and I don't fish for them, I did enough fishing for them when I was a guide, and I if I catch one a year, I'm happy. That's good. But anyway, you can come out and see us at the outdoor show, News Channel 8 outdoor show. We will be doing the seminar Sunday at 1 p.m. on the 16th. So come out and see us. Come out and visit Southeastern. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the Friday fishing forecast and talk about what we have in store for this weekend. All right, folks, what we have in store for this weekend, let's go through the tides for Saturday and Sunday, and then we'll go through the major and minor feeding times. Saturday, we have a low tide at 5:51 a.m. at a 0.51 foot. Then we have a high tide at 12:19 p.m. at a 1.90 foot. Then we have another low tide at 6:46 p.m. at a 0.38 foot. On Sunday, we have a low tide at 6:16 a.m. at a 0.69 foot. Then we have a high tide at 12:36 p.m. at a 2.03 foot. And then we have a low tide at 7:23 p.m. at a 0.15 foot. So as you can see with this weekend's tides, they're very good tides. Great for inshore fishing, for snook, redfish, trout, for the tarpon especially those outgoing tides. The stronger they get and the more we get into the summer, we're going to start seeing crab flushes, and that's what those tarpon really like, is those crab flushes on those negative hill tides, what they call them. But those don't really start until June. But the tarpon are already around. Several of my friends have caught tarpon. We're seeing tarpon behind us at the office yesterday, and there was tarpon busting the bait. So there's tarpon everywhere. So if you want to go out and do that, you can definitely do that. The bridges are holding fish. Egmont will start showing fish here shortly. So if you're interested in that, but these are perfect tides for inshore. Good tides too on the slacks for grouper and snapper. So if you want to catch grouper and snapper, go out on the slack tides, fish for grouper and snapper, and when the tides pick up, run inshore and fish for snook, redfish, trout, tarpon, or whatever you want to fish for. So let's go ahead and talk about the salooner times for this weekend. On Saturday, we have a major feeding time from 10:21 a.m. to 12:21 p.m., and then we have a minor feeding time from 5:06 p.m. to 6:06 p.m. On Sunday, we have a major feeding time from 11:02 to 1:02 p.m., and then we have a minor feeding time from 5:58 p.m. to 6:58 p.m. So as you can see, the major feeding times are kind of coordinating with the change of the tide. So those are really, really good, especially for the grouper and snapper. A lot of people say, well, I don't fish the tides, I just fish when I can fish. And I totally understand that. I get it. We fish when we can fish too. But at the same time, I want to put myself in a position to where I'm going to be on the fish when we hit these major and minors. Now, they're not 100% accurate. Nothing is. The tides aren't. The weather's not. So it's not 100% accurate. But at the same time, I would say 8 out of 10 times it's pretty dead on. So if you haven't become a believer in the salooner periods, start taking notes, start taking logs. That's what we've done. I can go back through our video logs and see what we did on a certain weekend. Chad and I talked about that video that the grouper were skyrocketing out of the water, and he says, wasn't it about this time? And I said, yeah, I can go back and look exactly when it was. So having that video log helps me. I used to keep a written log back in the day when I was guiding, but now doing what we do, I have a video log. So I can go back through YouTube and I can see, okay, what were we doing this time of year, which I already kind of have an idea. I already know, but at the same time, it also helps to go back and learn. So hopefully on this episode, you learned a couple of different things. One, how important salooner tides and salooner periods are and tides are. And then two, how to position your boat when the tide and the wind are going cross direction from each other. It can make it very difficult, but if you get an understanding of how to set up the boat in deep water applications when you're trying to catch bait, it's very important, because if we didn't set up the way we set up, we probably would have had a hard time catching bait. So take the time to learn how your boat's going to sit in a certain direction. Again, I want to say thank you to everybody for all of the support. We highly appreciate it. Thank you for the support on this last video. Even though we didn't show a fish being caught, it was just the trials and tribulations of boating, of fishing. It doesn't always go right. It never does. And if it does, then good. Knock on wood. But we have more good times than we have bad times. We just learn from those bad times and understand them, and then move on from there. But even the bad times, we still get to spend time with people that we like, that we love, my wife. And so those are the most important things to me. Things may go wrong in the water, but if I have the chance to be able to hang out with some people and meet new people, like I met Casey at the Kingfish tournament, a lot of fun to be around. We just had a lot of laughs, good time. So that's what it's all about. And again, as I stated on the video before, Be courteous to each other on the water. We all love to do the same thing. We're all out there to want to catch fish. So thanks again. Fish more, catch more, and we'll see you on the next video.